Here we go. Go.
Okay, Peggy. This is Peggy Hall, who's been very famous in making a great difference in assisting a lot of people who have gone through a lot of situations over the last 2 years. I have some questions to ask about California. The legislation in California has gotten kind of extreme. We have AB 2098, which makes actually telling the truth about COVID, if it's against the narrative, a factor that can allow somebody to lose their medical license, even if all the lives they save are good. I mean, they do no harm to anyone. And yet doctors who do harm under that situation, if they follow the narrative, can keep their license. And we have numerous other bills in California that seem a little bit draconian. You're planning to stay in the state. Tell me, what hope do you feel that there is for us in California who choose to stay in the state?
It's so important that we focus on education because they will pass these laws. They've passed many egregious, illegal, unlawful, unconstitutional laws in the past. For example, there are also a 12-year-old can get an abortion without parental knowledge or consent. So my approach is to focus on educating the public so that they will, number one, stand up against these, and number two, not fall for it. So educating and empowering the doctors that they have a right to speak regardless of these laws. I believe that California can turn around. It's the largest state by population, which is why the evildoers are focusing on California. They actually want people to leave California. That's what I believe. That's why the homeless population is so great. That's why they don't care about crime. They're letting the criminals out. They want people to leave because fewer people are easier to control. I also want to say, for people that have left California, they've done so on their own free will. I support that. You can fight from anywhere, and also to stay active because you can't outrun tyranny. And while you may think that you're in a safe haven, what happens in California can happen where you are. So we all need to fight.
Thank you. One question I have about your husband's church stayed open. Would you allow people to realize that your husband and his ministry, who got above basically illegal procedures that violated the Constitution. What do you say about the churches that closed down during COVID or ordered their people to get vaccinated? I think that caused a loss of faith in the members of those churches. Do you have anything to say to those people?
Absolutely. In fact, I did say to them at that time, I wrote letters to the churches that we had attended in our area, and I let them know that there was no law that required them to close, that they could keep their churches open legally, lawfully, without fear, and that in this time of fear and distress and uncertainty, they needed that church community more than ever. So not only did they closed at the wrong time, and they honored man over God. So it was very depressing and very distressing to me to see men and women of faith, well, most of the churches, of course, run by men, and I thought it was so sad that I saw that they were bowing to evil and they were operating in fear. And you know what they told me is that, well, we have to be careful of our congregation. Well, allow the ones to come who want to come. Those who want to stay home can stay home. Most churches already have streaming services that are online, so it would not have harmed anyone. So it's sad to me that the churches did not pray, and there were churches that stayed open, and I support them. We actually are a church without walls. We do the preach on the beach once a month. My husband's a teaching and counseling pastor, so we were extremely disturbed by seeing the churches close, or they went out and they had their services outside. Now that's perhaps a little better, but it still is giving in to the whole narrative, which I call fake, phony, and fraudulent.
Now you have chosen to follow basically the real science as opposed to what the government's telling us. If you believe the COVID narrative, everybody theoretically who is out in the open, beating and greeting and hugging people would be dead by now.
That's right.
And so why are we still alive?
Exactly. I've had, well, you know, you've been to my many events over the, we're going on 3 years, and hugging. I've hugged thousands, tens of thousands of people. I never wear a mask. I don't do the hand sanitizer. I just live life normally. And I think the number one reason is because I don't live in fear. Fear is one of the most harmful elements for your immune system. So having people stay home, be glued to the TV, feed on the fear if the vaccine didn't kill them and if the doctors didn't kill them in the hospital, the fear is creating diseases, illness, anxiety, stroke, heart issues, and I simply live in faith. I'm optimistic, I'm confident, I have a positive outlook toward the future because giving into the fear is giving into evil. And I don't think about it. I literally take every thought captive that the Bible tells us to do, and we are supposed to guard our hearts. And if I feel that I am spinning in the cycle, I turn from the narrative. I look for action, and I look for remedies, and I look for different resources and things that we can do, because there's always another way.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the interview.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your service.
Truly my pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Really great.